on simultaneously live in Abuja. As the lady just said, it's the first year of the Nigeria Air Force Center. I was just saying that Honorable Oghene is our guest this morning. So let me say to you formally, good morning, Honorable.
Thank you. I'm honored to be with you once more.
Thank you very much. It's great to have you again. Well, as I was just saying, there's this effort that has been announced that every state of the Federation is going to be receiving truckloads of rice, 20 trucks per state. And this is by way of trying to ameliorate, at least doing something to contribute to the situation. Now, the idea is that when this rice lands, governors have been asked to ensure that it gets to the most vulnerable. So this is not really, when you look at it, if you interpret it properly, it's not a matter of sending 20 truckloads of rice to each state like that. It's specifically for the most vulnerable in society. Because I imagine one might look at it from the point of view, one could look at it and say, so what's 20 truckloads of rice going to do? Well, it's not for all and sundry. It isn't for, it's for the most vulnerable. Because I was hearing that, Honorable Ego, I was hearing that things are so tight, people who were able to buy rice, talking about the most vulnerable before, even as rice got more and more expensive, it got as expensive as for some people not to be able to afford it anymore, and then replaced with, of all things, maize. And I couldn't believe it when I heard that, well, I can't really afford rice anymore. It's out of reach. So the thing to do now is that if you could just be good to me and loan me the amount I'm requesting, I'll stock up on maize. I don't know if you've heard that. How do you replace rice with maize? People are saying, well, we got to do what we got to do. Honorable, how does that grab you?
Well, on this issue of the federal government sending several 40 trucks, several 40 trucks to the 36 states and FCT. Each of the trucks have 1,200 bags. That is a lot of rice. Each of the 1,200 bags. So it's a lot. But the most significant thing about it is not just the rice going to the states and the federal government directing the governors to give it to the most vulnerable people. The most significant thing about it is that there is somebody there who cares, who understands what everybody is going through, and is not just sitting down folding his hand. And that is the president. If the president does not care, if the president does not understand what the people are going through, they are suffering, the president will not say, let's send 740 trucks of rice at 1,200 bags each to the states to give out free to the most vulnerable. That free to the most vulnerable is the most important thing. It shows that, as some people think, that, oh, the president does not care, he's just in the Aso Rock. No. What we have seen now is that the president cares. And to go further, for those who say, oh, there's hunger in the land, of course I agree with them, there's hunger in the land. I'm feeling it, so I know there's hunger in the land. But Mr. President, about a week ago, said they were removing import duty and taxes on imported foods, including rice. So that is a major leap of the president's desire to ensure that the ordinary man, the common man, does not suffocate under the president's circumstances. Now, let's look at it. It's not the president that caused this hunger. It's not. This hunger was caused mainly by bandits who made it impossible for farmers to go to their farm. Herders who use their animals to eat up crops and who prevent people from harvesting what they have sown. Then again, there's climate change that have brought flooding in a lot of areas where tomatoes, peppers, and others rice are planted. So all this conspired to make food shortage, that we are suffering right now in the country. But we must know that, like I said, this is not caused by the president. These are natural things, you know. Since the president came in, he's been fighting these bandits, and in the Northeast, especially, they will tell you that it's a big relief. They can go to bush now and do whatever they want to do. But in the Northwest, it's still a big challenge. And I know that the president is making effort about it. If all this problem happened in the presence of this president, then we can begin to accuse him. Oh, Mr. President, you brought hunger to the land. You have brought suffering. But no, they are natural causes. But that the president have sat down and decided that something must be done to bring down the food or the price of food, and also to bring down the suffering of the masses, especially the most vulnerable, you know. I think we must give the president kudos. And I'm convinced that this hunger is not going to be for a long time. I'm convinced that it will not be for a long time. Because look at what the president did recently. You know, about 1 trillion that is now going to be sent to the states to encourage farming. Because what has happened is everybody seems to have forgotten how to farm. Oh, food is coming from the north, so we don't need to farm. In those days, growing up in Lagos, those days, in the early 80s, when we go to Ife, drive from True State, by the corner of the road, you will see baskets of tomato lining the road. Sometimes we buy a vehicle, we bring back to Lagos. But if you go there, you hardly see those markets, which shows that the people have kind of forgotten what they were doing, that is the farming. So I'm trying to say that almost everywhere in the country they can farm. And this is now falling on the table of the governors because the president has made provision. It is the duty of every governor to ensure that several acres of land are farmed, to breed stem, to breed seedlings, and teach the local farmers how to do it, so that price of tea will become low. Even in the Niger Delta area or the areas that are swampy, you can farm. If you look at China, you look at India, you look at Thailand, they do swamp rice farming and they produce millions of tons to feed their people. So everywhere in the country can farm. The thing is that this hunger that has come and the shortage of food is not making us to know that we need to put our house in order. But again, I commend Mr. President for ensuring that money is provided for the states. We hope this money will not be diverted and this money will actually be used for the farming. I personally will suggest that the presidency should send inspectors to all states. Let's look at how many acres of land have you opened up? Have you provided machineries to clear the ground? What have you done to ensure that farming becomes farming becomes lucrative, and by helping those who need to farm, encouraging people in the villages to farm, especially in rural areas. If the governors sit right and do that, everybody will not be waiting for trailers to come from the Niger Republic to feed their people. There will be enough food locally, and then this question of there's hunger in the land will be away. Let's not forget that the president is just barely a year old in office. So now the thing have happened as he came to office and is presently tackling the problem.
Well, I appreciate when you say that it's not the president that caused this tough situation. But the president himself has said that